What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Brough Guitars Review. How's life? How are things? Good. So hopefully no news is good news in your world. I've just been up to a lot of Christmas shopping and wrapping gifts, family coming in and out of town, work, the usual life. But here, as of late, I have come across a couple of new guitars. Well, newer. So today, before I even get started, Halen's stomach is making some god-awful noises, like gurgling, growling, so you might hear him just throw up or crap his brains out at some point in time. I don't know what's going on with him right now, but right now he's laying down, so I don't think he feels very good. So if you happen to see me get up, it's because he just did one of those two things. So hopefully he'll just take a little nap and maybe get to feeling a little bit better. So without further ado, I wanted to touch base on, first, another thing too is the Best of All Worlds tour. Did you get your tickets yet? I got my tickets. I'm gonna go see it out here in Vegas. I'm gonna go check that out. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be really cool, and I'm super glad because I just saw Sammy Hagar not even, a couple months ago as Halen hits the camera for the 10,000th time. But I'm really excited to hear the Hagar era songs and this and that. I mean, again, I love David Lee Roth too, and some form of respect to the Gary Cherone years, only because still featured pretty much Van Halen playing. But very excited to see that tour, and I've been seeing a lot of flack for Joe Satriani and this and that, and the dude's an epic guitar player. I mean, there's only one Eddie Van Halen, guys, so calm down. Like we would all hope and pray to God be as good as Joe Satriani, much less obviously Eddie, and to emulate or imitate one person, as we've all tried to do, like there's only one of that person and he's gone. So the fact that they're even doing an All Worlds tour, an All Worlds tour at all, I thought you don't feel well. No, get your toys right here, dude. You do this every time. It's right there, okay? But the fact that they're even paying homage to Eddie or whatever, I mean, I just think it's been long overdue. So I got my tickets, but without any further rant, let's talk about the guitar that we have in store for you today, as my dog wants to be a pain in my ass. Here it is. So you threw it on the floor, you get it. Dogs. So anyway, we're going to talk about a little bit of regret. A little bit of regret first, okay? So I'm going to talk about this guitar that really started it all for me as far as just reviews, and this is back in the early days of YouTube. I wish I would have stuck with it then, because God knows where this channel would be. Maybe it wouldn't have to work or whatever else, or maybe it turned out the same, if not worse. Please get your toy. We're not doing this today, buddy. Go get it. It's right there in front of your freaking face. Get it. I don't know what you're upset about. Get it. Yeah, I know. It's horrible. Shh. Only when I do that do you choose to talk. Get your toy. Where's your toy? Go get your toy. It's right there. You just knocked it down. Anyway, so again, had I started this way back when and stuck with it, that would have been pretty epic and awesome to see where it would have been today, if, like I said, if anywhere. But back in the day, I mean, there was no EVH company. There was only, when Eddie was with, Ernie Ball, Peavy. Back then, I don't even think he was just in the start of being with Fender. So I don't even think EVH was a thing yet. It had to have been in the works. Well, yeah, it was in the works. I think 2009 was when they came out with the Fender Wolfgang. So yeah, maybe EVH was around, because this happened about 2011. So you're talking, 12 years ago. But 12 years ago, I posted a video about said guitar, and it really did really well. But again, the only reason why I bought the thing was because, again, back in the day, there was no Stripe Series guitars. There was no, at that time, maybe the Frankie, the Fender replica maybe came out right around that time. But outside of that, I mean, who had 25 grand to blow, on that, or, whatever else. Oh, coffee, thank God. Anyway, so, you're either had to build this stuff or you had to buy it off somebody who was building them and this and that. And so 2011, I reached out to a company known as Meanstreet Guitars. I'd kind of vaguely come across their site. I don't know how, or if it was just surfing the net, or what happened. But I remember coming across Meanstreet Guitars. Now, Meanstreet Guitars is ran by a gentleman by the name of Mitch. Great guy. But he used to bang these things out, especially the Frankies and the 5150s. I didn't really see him doing any of the other Ed stuff, but it was really the Frankenstein and 5150s. He had a model he still sells today called the Unchained model, which is essentially like a Kramer Beretta. And he does have kind of like the Frankie style bodies, like Palermo guitars kind of does the same thing, because now they came out the Frankie Relic. Like that was kind of like what they were doing before EVH caught on years later and chose to do that. So God knows how much money they've missed out on. And I'm also curious to see if EVH is sending out cease and desist letters for that or not. I doubt it, because you can relic anything. It's not trademarked for relicking, but the striping pattern 100%, because back when I used to build these, I think I mentioned this in another video, but I got a big boy cease and desist letter. Shut up! I got a big boy cease and desist letter from ELVH, Edward Ludwig Van Halen, and they were telling me to stop selling the stuff on eBay because they were gonna go ahead and go through with the big boy lawsuit. God knows how much they would have got out of me if whatever. It could have been small claims or whatever, but I wish I would have kept that letter, because like I said, that meant that someone affiliated with Eddie knew I existed. So it was pretty cool. But I came across Meanstreet Guitars, and I reached out to Mitch, and I remember I was working as a server at that time, like making next to nothing, and I got what they called, which was this guitar, as you all are very familiar with, the 5150, right? But I bought this guitar back then from Meanstreet Guitars, okay? And this is called the Unchained Tour Relic model, okay? So I bought this, years ago. That was like my first video, and I did a long review on it. So we're just kind of touching base again, because this is where the regret part comes in, as I'm sure we've all had. I sold it. I sold this guitar. I sold my Frankie that I got from Mitch, and I can't remember how much I made on those, if anything. I may have even taken a loss. But I remember $1,600 is what I bought it for, and then I am moving across the country, and probably moved a couple more times, and then obviously had to sell some stuff to make ends meet. So I had to sell it, and after the years, Meanstreet Guitars no longer makes the striped guitars. So I mean, if I was getting reached out to on eBay, I can only imagine an actual manufacturing company, or someone's got a CNC machine just busting these things out, making all kinds of money, because out of nowhere he just stopped making them. And so this one actually ended up coming up on eBay, and let's just say I spent a little bit more than $1,600 for it. But I remember having mine, and I wish I never would have sold it. But it was, very reminiscent of this, and we're gonna touch base on this. I really wish he'd get off my camera. But we'll kind of go through this one. He's got to chew his toy, right on the freaking thing. Love him to death, but He is annoying as holy shit. Okay. He's got a toy though. I think he's fine. Australian Shepherds are extremely high energy dogs. I mean, I knew that they were, but when he was a puppy, he was chill. And then like overnight, completely different animal. Possessed ever since. I'm gonna get some sage and holy water and try and see what I can do to salvage anything before he hits 1 year old, because he drives me nuts. Love him. Drives me nuts. So anyway, this guitar came up, and I've seen a couple Meanstreet guitars come up on Reverb and this and that. Usually people want astronomical prices for it, but that's because the quality, I mean, was really good. I mean, Mitch killed it on these things. And like I said, it came up, and I already have a 5150 build that I did, and we can kind of compare looks and this and that. But I bought it because I miss having that Meanstreet guitar. That was a very special guitar to me, because that was, you know, that was my dream guitar back when I was still younger. I mean, we're talking, I was well in my early, 20s then. So, I mean, that was like a godsend guitar. Like, I never thought I would have a guitar that looked even remotely close to it, and I mean, I played the hell out of that thing. But then $1,600 back then was so much money. Now that's not today, but like, I was almost terrified to play it because, it's $1,600. I was like terrified to put a nick and scratch on it, even though it already looked Relic. I just respected the guitar too much. So like I said, I sold it, regretted it. It's funny how things come full circle, and then it wasn't the exact one that I got, but however, it's still very close to what I had. And I go back and look at that video not that long ago, and I kind of was comparing. I was like, man, what's the differences here and this and that? But again, this is the Meanstreet. This is the 5150 Tour Relic model that they came out with. He also had a model that was, not Relic, and it looked like, the 5150 EVH Stripe Series one you can get now, even though I don't despise the headstock, but again, they can't come out with the hockey stick headstock per se, where it's like this, because of trademarked Kramer and Gibson owns Kramer, and like I said, Fender's affiliated with EVH, so they kind of came out there like the little, what's called the slap shot, headstock or whatever. I understand it's a tribute guitar and this and that, but I just feel like part of the mystery to this guitar was and the myth of it was the hockey stick neck. I mean, it's a badass looking headstock, right? So without further ado, we can go ahead and talk about this as I try to break this lovely headstock on my table here holding my coffee. We'll go ahead and talk about this thing. So I'm not 100% sure what the body is, because I hadn't taken the neck off, but I swear, will you stop touching it? Here, chew your toy over there, please. Sorry guys, he's making this impossible today. We're trying. There we go, good boy, good boy. Now he's out of the way down here. So anyway, the guitar. I'm not sure if he used Musicraft products or not. I'm almost 100% certain that the neck is Musicraft. Almost 100% certain. Because if I remember looking back at the emails, because I'd asked him, I was like, what parts do you use, this and that? And I want to say it was all Musicraft. But the body, to be honest, I'm thinking it's probably either alder, it could be basswood, but I mean, I'll show you the wood here on the back. I mean, you take your guess. It looks like alder to me. It's a little bit heavier, like alder. It's not the heaviest thing in the world, but it's a very dense wood. Basswood I feel like is a little bit lighter, and basswood I feel like has a little bit more grain in it than alder does, but well, I mean, like, where you can see the grain, not necessarily that it's grainy, like, ash or something. But either way, I'm pretty sure the body might be alder. But I think he used Musicraft products. The pickup, I believe, is a Seymour Duncan. I don't remember if it was the 78. Pretty sure it was a 78 or 59 is what he was putting in these. I don't think he was using JBs, but I believe it was the Seymour Duncan 78. It's a great sounding pickup, like I said, especially for Van Halen 1. That's my favorite pickup on the market, without question. It beats the EVH Frankenstein, the Kramer Frankie, the Seymour Duncan 59. It beats all the JBs for Van Halen 1, probably up through, Diver Down. Like that. It sounds amazing. And then the JBs I like to use or I think sound like the later years, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, this and that. We can go in a whole big dive in on pickups one day, because I got them all. This is the 84, I believe, Floyd Rose. Of course, you got your MXR knob. So the neck is Musicraft. I believe it's an R2 nut. It's really not a whole lot to this guitar. What impressed me the most, there's two things that really impressed me with his guitar specifically. The paint job, okay? The paint job, there's like 10 out of 10 on quality, 9 out of 10 on 8.5 out of accuracy, okay? But again, back in the day, I mean, this is the most accurate thing I could find, besides my skill wasn't up to build just yet. But, for paying homage, I mean, I was like, this is next to none. But I'd say there's three really big pros, and we're going to talk about those right now. So let's talk about the paint. The paint, he used House of Colors paint. He still uses that today, because I just went on his site and looked. I'm like, is this guy even still around? And he is. He used House of Colors paint, and the paint on this is just next to none. I mean, it's a satin finish. It's not gloss, right? But it's so smooth. Like, he sanded this so well. There's not a single raised line on this. And it's just, I mean, it even smells amazing. But, I mean, it's just an epic quality of paint. That House of Color stuff, it's got to be expensive. And I think he spray paints it on with a spray gun. I mean, it's just, you can just tell how even layered it is, and this and that. I mean, it's just, and again, like, even with the wood grain here, that's pretty fine. It's not Relic. It looks like it's literally painted on. So I'm pretty sure he uses a spray gun for that. Even the little overspray here, even though it was supposed to look like wear, he really made up for a lot of the relicking just by using, a spray gun. I got a buddy who does spray jobs with a spray gun and this and that, and it's crazy how accurate you can get, almost like a pencil line, with that stuff, considering it's spraying. Like that takes talent. Mitch is a very gifted guy in multiple ways here, which I'll touch on again. But the paint, I mean, is just, it's just an epic paint job. Now, is it 100% accurate? Okay, no. Again, to each his own as far as like what's 100% accurate or not. And again, there's only the one guitar, but there's several people like Chris Hubbard, what's his name? Matthew Perry, not Matthew Perry, who passed away, God rest his soul. But I've seen him on the EVH forums. He does real sick paint jobs too. I mean, there's me. I don't necessarily consider myself up, maybe to there's, quality or stature. I mean, that's up to you where you rank us all or this or that. But, they do great stuff. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, they do really good. But again, for the time, I mean, this was just, next level. I mean, he's got, the cigarette burn there. He's got another burn there. He's got the zero here down low enough to where the stripe comes through just like it's supposed to, and the stripe isn't 100% straight. It kind of comes here and then tapers down like it's supposed to. Like I said, he killed it here on the wood grain. I mean, again, on the rear one, it actually looks like it's actually from the wood grain. But, I mean, for the time, again, killer, right? And then look at the black stripe here. We'll kind of touch again on how it's different. Here it looks like either he just taped it off or he just rubbed the paint off. So that's not really accurate to the shape of where the wear is on the black stripe. But again, for the time, like, this was sick. You know, he had here from the double-sided tape, the gaffer's tape, I should say, that was taken on and off. You know, the overspray, you know, right there is killer. You know, you got your, you know, all these little indents here, but again with paint, I mean, that's all even. That's crazy. I mean, a couple little nicks and pings here. He's got the white electrical tape around the pickup, you know. So I would say this one's pretty Relic, but it's not like as Relic as mine. You know, mine's like beaten to hell and back, like modern day minus a 7 tuner. But again, I mean, you know, so I guess the paint job, quality, 10 out of 10. As far as accuracy, 8 out of 10. But again, I would consider this more of a tribute, you know, guitar like the rest of them. You know, it doesn't have the tray table holes here on the back. I'm not going to put them in here. It doesn't have the yellow ground wire. You know, that's a white one. Yeah, it's a white one. You know, there's, like I said, there's some things that are wrong. It doesn't have, you know, the serial number, you know, this and that. But again, I mean, for, you know, 10, 12 years ago, this was the shit. Okay. Now, another pro to this guitar is going to be the neck. Now, I'm not sure the profile. It's definitely asymmetrical, okay? I'm not exactly sure what his specs were back in the day for what he ordered, but this neck, it's a little bit of a thicker, more rounder neck. I'm not going to say, you know, it's a Ernie Ball, you know, EVH Music Man Access kind of neck, but if I was to relate it as far as comparable to, it's not quite as thick down here or as round, but I would say that it's a good rendition of that. Again, not exact, but it's in the ballpark, okay? And it pretty much goes for all of Ed's guitars, were all asymmetrical. You know, the actual neck was, he loved that neck so much on his 5150, it was a computerized copy that went onto the Ernie Ball Music Man EVH Access, and that's why those are very sought after guitars, is really more so for the neck. Yeah, they're rare too, depending on what color you have, but definitely more so in the realm of the necks, because the necks just felt real comfortable, because again, it was broken in. I mean, it conformed to Ed's hand, you know. I mean, it's a very comfortable neck. But like I said, it's not exactly, it's in the ballpark, and it's a very comfortable feeling neck. It's got some chunk, you can hold on to it, but it's not a super fat neck, you know, like a Les Paul or something like that. It's a very comfortable feeling neck. Another pro is the setup on the guitar. Now, you know, I've changed a little bit setup then, but I remember coming fresh out of the box, the setup on the guitars were sick. Mitch does great setup work. I remember just being really impressed then. I was like, this guitar plays like butter. I was like, this is great. I don't have to do anything to it. The action was just set right, played well, nothing fretted out. I mean, it was fantastic. And, you know, this guitar, when I got it, I didn't really have to do much setup work. So I'm not sure if it's still the same setup as what Mitch's was from back in the years. I'm considering that it's been changed several times over since then. But, you know, I remember then it was just, the setup work was just really good. Let's see what else. Now, this electrical tape should be a little bit higher up here, so I don't know if the person I bought it from put it there. I'm not going to bother peeling it off, you know, but a lot of people think on the actual 5150 that this was paint. You know, I remember videos in the back, they're like, oh, your 5150 doesn't have the black stripe on there. You gotta paint the blah, blah. It's electrical tape. So do your research. Pull your head out of your ass. It's electrical tape, okay? But nice little fun fact for the users that don't know, okay? Now, when I got the guitar, there was a couple problems with it. It had nothing to do with Mitch or Meanstreet Guitars because, again, he stopped making these years ago. But little food for thought, the bar was pretty much stripped here, so I had to get a pair of pliers and a wrench and really screw this sucker back in here. I'll probably never take it out again. It was a pain to get that back in there. Will I change it over to another 84 at some point? Maybe, if this one ever happens to give me issues. But I remember the bar was so loose that when I went to compress the strings, like I could have the bar all the way to the body. And when I did that, I mean, it wouldn't even bend the strings. The bar was all the way down to the body. And just, it was so loose, it wouldn't even, bend the string. It wouldn't do nothing. So, we had to do that. Another thing that's a pain in the ass on your 5150 replicas and some of the older Kramers, or if you just hate yourself and you like this jack, I think Switchcraft makes a better one to where you don't have as many issues with this because the design, it's a design flaw 100%, is this barrel jack. Okay, that little thing right there. So when you're plugging your cable in and you're pulling it in and out, in and out, in and out, like it's actually kind of loose right now, but it gets loose on the inside, and there's a little octagon nut, a hex nut or whatever you want to call it. You just get a pair of needle nose pliers, you take off the back plate, you reach on in there, and you hold this here with either a wrench if you can grab anything, or another pair of pliers, hold on to it if you can. It's hard, so I just hold here and then just with my other hand just screw that back in there, and it will last you for a little bit. You can get as tight as you can, but I mean it's a total design flaw. So I actually gotta tighten it on this one, but again, and I did that probably a month ago, and it's already being a pain in the ass. So it is what it is. But that was really the only flaws when I got the guitar, with it. So again, maybe the person I bought it from didn't know how to fix this stuff or whatever. So I was kind of bummed to pay what I paid and then kind of get it in the shape that I got it in. But again, that's the risk that you take when you buy stuff online. Again, not horrible, but if someone didn't know what they were doing or they didn't want to touch anything, that's what you run into, right? He's finally calm to sleep. Let's see what the knobs and EVH frictionless knob, the favorites, love those things, the Bourne pods. Here's the Relic work on the neck. It is a little bit darker, but it's not over the top. Again, is it Relic exactly the way that Ed's was? No. But it's dirtied up, kind of like, the Relic Frankie that they put out now, and this and that. And here's the headstock one more time. He's got the cigarette, burn on there. Here's the Kramer sticker. He's got the Goto tuners on there, the 10mm ones. There's the back. It's Relic here. This is raised a little bit, but it doesn't bother you. It feels fine. Like I said, just a really cool guitar. And another reason why I bought it is because I was gonna build another 5150. Not necessarily this Relic, but close. And I was gonna do the black pickup. And I figured for what I paid for it, I might as well, for what I would have paid to build one, like my last one here, I'd be better off just paying for this right away. And plus, it was a Meanstreet guitar, and it was on my bucket list if it ever came up again that I would buy another one. Like I said, is it 100% accurate? No. But if you're going, tribute guitar or whatever else, or if you come across this just for the playability, it's a great guitar. But I like it a lot better than the EVH Stripe Series ones, I tell you that. Again, nothing wrong with those guitars. You know, just not for me specifically. If you got it, great, kudos to you. I'd still play the hell out of it. You know what I mean? Because again, I support anything, you know, EVH. Wow, there, buddy. Okay, he just wanted to stretch out of nowhere. Hello. Okay, you good down there? You're dreaming? Wow, you about saw my whole damn house there. He also got, you know, these holes and stuff in here. Is 100% accurate? No. And even mine, I didn't put the big old gigantic hole in here where he had one of these, but it's like a lot longer, where he would put in his cord. That's back when he was going crazy with the sustainer days and this and that, back in like 2004. I don't know why I just did that, but wanted to. Oh, and on his, he's got the string tree right here. I just looked at mine. I didn't put one on mine. But just to kind of compare, you know. Oh, and another thing. Sorry, again, off the cusp. Look at the color of the red. Okay? He nailed it. This orangish red kind of color, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Because if you look at mine, okay, okay, again, not too far off, but this one's just a little bit more of a reddish tint, and this one's a little bit more of an orange tint. Now again, it just depends on the lighting, right? Because if I kind of bring this back, it looks a lot more red. You know, maybe if I kind of do this, see how mine's a little bit more orange here? He nailed it, you know, on this one. Again, this is not the Schwinn bicycle paint. It's not whatever frickin' paint you want to argue about that they used back in those days. But again, this is the engine enamel, the Chevrolet red from Dupacolor. Again, I've touched base on that in other ones, but you know, again, looking at these guitars here, again, you know, mine's not 100% accurate either, but you know, you can kind of, you know, compare. It all looks backwards. So this is really messing with me right now. But like, for instance, like, remember how I said on where the black stripe relicing is there? You know, mine's a little bit more accurate. It's a little bit more like that. I got the woodchucks missing, and you know, again, I mean, if you compare these two, again, my zero's not as low. I mean, still really good job, again, for years ago, you know. And see, this is really the biggest discrepancy is here on the back. Is because look at the white that's around the wood relic there. And again, this is where I say I think this is alder. Because look at the bass. This is basswood. This one's a little bit, you know, darker, and this one's a little bit grainier. You know, you see the wood grain a little bit more. But yeah, the white that's around the wood here on the back, again, you can see his is just kind of spray painted, almost like it's rubbed off. And the actual guitar looks a little bit more, you know, like mine. It's a little bit more prominent, a little bit more defined. You know, this and that. Sorry, I'm just looking at the stripes. I'm like, hopefully these are relatively close here. And they are. You know, we're not missing anything, nothing extra. Nope. It's a little bit harder to do like this. You know. And again, guys, when you do these builds, you can get as close as you want. You know, I mean, there's so much modern technology today that can help you be able to achieve the goals that you want. But just look at YouTube, look at the techniques on how to do this stuff yourself. It is great, you know, to build these and do this on your own if you want. If you don't have the time and, you know, you want to pay someone to do it, you know, as long as they don't get sued for it, go for it. You know, my advice to you would be to do it yourself. You're gonna have a lot more pride in it. You're gonna enjoy it a lot more. Not that I haven't obviously bought guitars, obviously, from other people that have painted. It just depends what you want to do and what you're looking for. Yeah, these are my 5150s. I will not have any more other 5150 guitars. You know, these are the only two that I'll probably ever own. I love them both. You know, it's just kind of a matter of what I'm trying to go for, what I'm trying to play, you know, at that time. Again, you know, here's mine again in comparison. I'm trying to get, you know, decent lighting here. The sun's kind of going behind a building right now, so, you know, and other people, you know, got opinions on my guitar, and that's okay. You're entitled to your opinions. That's fine. I don't take any offense to it. You can say it's too Relic or it sucks or whatever you want to say. I don't take it personal. I like these guitars. These are my guitars. You know, I did take a lot of pride in doing these because for me. It wasn't for anyone else. You know. But again, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, feel free. You know, I'm here for you guys. I'll help you in any way that I can. I try to answer all your all's questions as soon as I can. You know, I try to check it every day. Because again, I know it's frustrating. You sit there and you ask a question about a build and someone takes forever to get back to you, or, you know, this or that or whatever. So, you know, I'm all for supporting anybody, you know, who wants to do this stuff themselves. Anyway, I'll just get set there and I'll get to playing. So, again, this isn't the same 5150 as the one that I got, or the one that I built here, but I did buy another, you know, 5150-esque guitar. Again, that's Meanstreet guitars. Definitely check them out. The guy's got some really cool, like, hollow flash guitars that he's been doing for years. He's got this mechanical looking style that he does too. It's not really for me, but it is a really cool kind of looking thing, you know. So again, he's still around. You know, he does do custom paint jobs as far as I know. He doesn't do this stuff, you know, anymore. Obviously, probably just for getting sued. Again, I'm just reading into the situation. I don't know for a fact, so I can't sit there and tell you that that's what it was for. Yeah, I mean, again, if you guys got any comments, questions, concerns, you know, let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm probably going to take a break from building for a while because winter is here, even though it's 70 degrees here in Las Vegas on, you know, a random day here in December. It's freaking nuts that we're in December and it's 70 degrees here. Usually it's cold, but either here or there. You know, once winter does come, it's not really ideal times to be painting and this and that. So I'm going to take a break from building. I'm going to try to take some vacations. I'm going to try to enjoy myself, you know, next year. Not that I don't enjoy building, because I do. But, you know, 4 builds really was a big commitment for me. And granted, I mean, it wasn't for anybody, it was for myself. So, you know, it took my time. But, you know, I'm going to take a break from it. I'm probably going to start, you know, talking about my other guitars here soon. Yeah. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you're getting all your Christmas shopping done. You know, if you haven't bought anything for yourself for a while, you know, you work hard for your money, treat yourself, you know, go out, buy yourself a guitar, make one of these for yourself, you know, do all that fun stuff. You know, life's short. And, you know, just to enjoy the process and, you know, be thankful for what you do have, what you don't. Not try to get philosophical on you guys, but again, you know, life is short to an extent. So, you know, try to live it the best you can and, you know, enjoy the fruits of it as much as you can as well, because it could all go away at any moment. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Keep watching. Let me know again if you have any questions, comments, concerns. He's asleep, so I'm going to go try now to maybe get some other stuff done, maybe play a little guitar without any interruptions. So hope you all are doing well. Keep doing whatever it is you do, and until next time, peace.